It is time for Convo. This is the reason we got out of bed here, right? To come to Convo. It's our favorite. It's what we love. Okay, so we have several announcements. Let's get right to it. Who's first?
Adam with Kipcore.
Adam with Kipcore.
All right. Hey, guys, good morning. Starting on Monday, you will have a chance to participate in a number of events to celebrate the National Campaign Nonviolence Week of Action. You can even get combo credit for some of these events. So, the Kansas Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution is collaborating with Bethel College, Peace Connections, and other organizations to sponsor these events. So, starting on Monday, September 16th, you can receive combo credit by participating in a poverty simulator from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in Mem Hall. This event puts you in the shoes of a family in poverty and confronts you with the hard choices that people in poverty need to make in order to survive. You can also get combo credit and take part in Service Day on Wednesday, September 18th by heading outside to the green at 2 p.m. for a demonstration by the group Raw Tools. Raw Tools blacksmiths will be turning guns into gardening tools to demonstrate commitment to nonviolent problem solving. The event will be live streamed inside Mem Hall, where other activities will also take place. Thursday night is a cookout in Newton at the First Church of God on Fairview Avenue. Food services begin at 5:30. Raw Tools will also be at the cookout, and there will be other events, including the film Inside Peace at 7 p.m. The final event will be held in Crable Auditorium on Sunday, September 22 at 7 p.m. Fawasha Kakar, a Bethel graduate and senior program officer at U.S. Institute of Peace, will speak out about women's role in ending violence and building peace and share experience working with women in Afghanistan. All the events next week are free, including the Thursday night cookout. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. You guys know my name is Pedro. We have an event next week. We have Threshers Cinema. Annabelle Comes Home. Parents Association is bringing walking tacos, and we'll provide drinks for that. Right now, the location is the Green, but by Monday, we'll have a finalized place. I just want to tell you guys, if you guys have any ideas, like anything you guys want to do, anything you guys feel like needs to happen, please email me or the SAC email, and we'll try to put it in for this rest of the semester. Also, if you guys have any themes for like athletic events, like we've been doing the white out, the maroon out, the jersey night, if you have any ideas, please email me or Dakota Foster, and we'll try to implement that into the next few games, the home games. Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, what's going on? Okay. So I'm here on behalf of the social work organization. Okay, so every year we bake cookies for Fall Fest, and we donate some of that money to charity or all of it. Let's just go with all of it. And it's a very, very big project. So we bake all the cookies, and then after that we then sell them on Fall Fest. And so we'll be baking the cookies the Sunday before Fall Fest on October 6th. And since this is so big, we really need a lot of volunteers to come help. It is, like I said, it's on October 6th. That's a Sunday at 4 p.m. And so we'd like you guys to sign up for 1 to 2 hour slots. Anybody can come help. And we will provide pizza. And you don't have to be a social work student to help. That's a big thing, too. Just come out and help bake some cookies. And so that'll be October 6th, which is a Sunday at 4 p.m. We got to get that date ingrained in there. And so if you're interested, you can contact Ada Schmidt-Thiessen or Jen Chappell-Deckert or myself or other social work students or just like anybody. You tell somebody, they'll tell somebody, and it'll eventually get to us, right? So remember, October 6th at 4 p.m., contact us. We'll get you more details. There will be pizza and baking cookies. It's for a good cause. Awesome, sweet. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm here with 2 quick announcements on behalf of FemCorps. The first one is that next Wednesday, we'll be having our first meeting of the semester We'll be at 5:30 in Howery Hub, and we'll have snacks, so come by, grab a snack. The second announcement, I think there's another slide for that. Nope. There it is. We are, FemCorps and Belong To are teaming up to sponsor students to go to Wichita Pride Parade. That's Sunday, September 29. And we've extended the deadline to sign up until next Friday. And so if you'd like to sign up, please contact me or Casey Wilson. Yeah, we'd love to see you all there. Thanks.
What's up, everybody? We got some exciting news for you guys. I should have a slide or flyer or something. Huh? Okay. Great. So Bethel College will soon be giving you another avenue to grow in your faith walk. We're establishing Bethel Worship Center, and we will hold Sunday morning services at 11 a.m. beginning October 6, 2019. These services will take place right here on campus, here in the FAC auditorium. If you haven't found a place to worship here in town or anything, we're trying to create a peer-led, creative worship atmosphere, so yeah.
We're also looking for students who want to help out with this. So there's 6 teams that you can be a part of, such as audio, video, media, worship, and creative teams. So if you're interested in learning more about this, you can email AB Stokes.
And we also will have a booth outside the cafeteria today with a flyer and little printable handouts that Logan DeMond made. Shouts out to Logan. Yeah. So yeah, so I hope this is a blessing to you guys, and I hope to see y'all there October 6th.
So this is the Convo announcement when we talk about Convo stuff. So at this time, it's my privilege to introduce our new student assistants for Convocation this year, Ronald Gray and Sarah Smith, and they have something important to tell you.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of emails about, wow, I have no Convo credit, but I've been here for 5 times. So if you'll look, if you go to the Convo class, it says that you have nothing. So you need to go to the main page of Thresher Connect, click students, and then go over to the side, and right there is where you can check your credit. Also, if you have an announcement or you have a slide that you want to put up, make sure you send it to Convo Announce, and don't send it to Doug because, yeah. Okay, thanks.
Also, make sure you send that by Thursday. We make the slides Thursday, and if it's not to us by Thursday, there's not a chance it's going to be in on Friday.
We're really thankful that Ron and Sarah can provide some adult supervision for me, so I really need the help. So Bill and... So Leland, you remember back when Dale Schrog would do Convo introductions? He'd have this really long thing. Well, Dale's not here, but to make up for that, we have 2 people to introduce you for Convo. So I'd like to welcome to the podium Dr. Bill Esch and Dr. Christine Kraus-Dick.
As college professors, we are presented often with opportunities to form relationships with our students.
These relationships are a byproduct of the small, liberal arts college atmosphere in which we live, move, and think.
With students together in classroom settings and extracurricular activities during office hours, in our homes and in the broader community, through these encounters we are able to grow, we are able to learn, and we are able to better understand who we are as teachers and as people.
We are shaped by our students.
We are shaped by what you know.
We are shaped by what you learn.
We are shaped by the experiences that you share with us.
We are shaped by your stories.
You teach us. When we were invited to introduce today's Convocation speaker, we were quickly reminded of just how fortunate we are to have jobs that not only allow us to learn alongside those we teach, but also to be personally transformed by our students' own evolutions.
I remember when today's Convocation speaker was uncertain about how to complete an assignment. We walked around the green and talked about his misgivings and about how he wanted to do things the right way. What we learned together from this encounter was how little the right way matters and how important it is to just show up and try.
I remember today's convo speaker as having an unfettered passion for life. When he committed to a task, it was accomplished with his whole being. His passionate engagement taught me to put aside some of my reservations about what it means to be a professor and to engage more in the humanity of the environment around me. Through him, I rediscovered my passion for teaching.
I remember when today's Convocation speaker took on the role as my teaching assistant in first-year seminar. What I learned was how much richer textual interpretation is when people from multiple social locations with various experiences share the role of leader and facilitator.
If we are lucky, we are sometimes shaped by encounters with extended family. On a southern tour, we stopped in Galveston, Texas, today's Convocation speaker's hometown, and we were welcomed into his African-American congregation with warmth and hospitality. There was lively conversation and some of the best home cooking I've ever eaten. And later in the evening, I talked a while with his grandfather, a wise, soft-spoken older gentleman with graying hair and a wonderful smile. That encounter made me think differently about the ways that I engage people of different backgrounds.
I remember when today's Convocation speaker received numerous important leadership opportunities and would have to decline some in order to accept others. As we discussed his options, I learned how important it is to listen to your gut and to recognize when something makes your heart sing or when something makes life feel like a burden.
I remember when today's Convocation speaker was playing nose guard for a football team that lost every game his freshman year, that lost every game his sophomore year, that won 2 games his junior year, won 4 games his senior year. And I saw on the field his tenacity, his unwillingness to give up, his passion for football, his deep-seated belief that through adversity comes strength. Through watching him play, I relearned the lesson of perseverance, of doing a job to the best of your abilities, in spite of the difficulties, of finishing the race, of keeping the faith.
Since graduating from Bethel College only 3 short years ago, today's Convocation speaker has accumulated numerous and impressive resume entries.
He served as an admissions counselor and recruitment coordinator at the University of Colorado Boulder.
He was named as the 2018-2019 Albert C. Yates Fellow.
He received the 2018 Black Faculty Staff Unsung Hero Award.
He was honored as one of the 2018 recipients of Cincinnati's 30 Under 30.
In August of 2019, he graduated with a Master's of Science in Sports Administration from the University of Cincinnati.
And today he serves as an intern with the NCAA Office of Inclusion. And Leland, we are so glad your life's path led you to pursue an education at Bethel College. We're so grateful for the ways that you've allowed us to be shaped and influenced by your intellect, your passions, your questions, your convictions, and your dreams. And we are so happy that you are here to deliver today's Convocation address.
Please help us welcome Leland Wade Brown III. It is really great to have you here, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. I love it. Let me tell you, I almost just cried, and I'm trying to fight back the tears right now. Thank you for that heartfelt and wholehearted introduction. It means a lot. Thank you so much. So what if I told you that sport actually left people, more than times than not, worse off than what they started? What if I told you that those who actually play sport, more times than not, do not graduate with college degrees at a higher rate than normal students? Would you believe me? Today, we'll be going through an exploration of sport via identity inclusion, where I'll pit us against the world to understand how sports operate, the barriers that exist within sport, and how you, if you play, are probably unwillingly being exploited against. But first, today, I want to take you through a brief overview of the presentation that we'll be speaking about. First, I'll give you a brief introduction to who I am. My mentor once said, people don't care what you know until they know. Okay, I'm going to say that again. People don't know that you care until they care, or until they know that you care. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. That's what my mentor once said. So first, I'll let you know who I am via my introduction. The second thing I'll do is explore sport in the social context by outlining how sport operates and how it's actually more like our society than the messages that you've been given. Before moving into sport in the social context and identifying the problems that are existing within sport, and then going through looking at the climate of sport and the stakeholders that are somehow affected by sport and the way it operates currently, before moving to the problems that players have with over-depending on sport and not having anything via the life after the game, before moving into solutions and then a brief Q&A. But first, I need to let you know who I am and what I come from. So I come from black. I come from so much black that growing up, all I had was a black cat. I had a black backpack, and I even got a black... Nah, I'm just black. You see, I come from so much black that if you cut me open inside right now, you'd probably see a little bit of Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and don't forget my boy Marcus Garvey. Oh, but not that nigga Steve Harvey, because I come from black. I come from so much black. For the black in the room, Boys in the Hood did no justice. Oh, and neither did Menace to Society for that matter, because I come from black. Oh, but I wonder if y'all are actually asking where I'm from right now. I'm just from Texas. Oh, I'm from a place where we speak with a little bit more of a southern twang, and instead of saying thing, we say thang, and we don't really say the words where and there. It sounds a little bit like were and there. And can you get that and please bring that over her? Oh, let me get serious for a second. I come from 4 generations of self-hating, no occupation, time-wasting, mental enslavement of incarcerated blood. I come from a deadbeat dad and a mom who could care less, and a society that actually wrote me off to jail. I come from grandparents who paid in blood for my bail. I come from a place far too deplorable for CNN and MSNBC to sell. But did I let that make me? Nah. Because you see, I come from ancestors who made it too hard for me to fail. I come from a beautiful history of chaos, strength, and intellect, where we were so strong that they had to hang it out of us. I come from the body of Shaka Zulu and the brain of Desmond Tutu. I come from a mosaic so beautiful that even Van Gogh couldn't imagine. I come from matter. I come from melanin. I come from melanin that matters, and that, you see, that matters. My name is Leland Wade Brown III, and I am from Galveston, Texas. I came here in the year of 2011, not knowing what I wanted to do, and simply because of the reason of football, and everything else kept me here. I was a part of the concert choir, first play when I was here, open road, and then I ended up graduating with 2.5 majors. I tell people 3 sometimes, because I had an education degree, I had an English degree, and I also had a communication arts degree. Afterwards, I left the University of Colorado Boulder, as they so eloquently said, and I worked in admissions, recruiting strategic populations to the university. And then I went to the University of Cincinnati as a coordinator for identity initiatives, where I worked specifically with ED&I initiatives, equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives on campus. And then I became a student on campus, a research fellow, a graduate assistant, and teaching assistant in the field of sport administration before becoming a superhero. Yes, I'm a superhero as I work for the NCAA, and I get to help empower athletes to alleviate the barriers that are existent within sport, and we'll talk about what those are today. But first, I need to let y'all know my favorite sports teams are the Houston Texans, the Rockets, and also the Astros. I don't care if y'all have teams. My teams are better. Thank you. Lastly, what'd you say? The Cowboy? I'm going to need you to leave. Thank you. It's Jalen. It's Jalen, right? All right, go home. Next, Go Buffs, baby. University of Colorado, they gave me my first opportunity to change the world. So it's always Go Buffs in my heart because they gave me that opportunity. And then as far as future aspirations, as I work for the NCAA, I would love to become an athletic director to guide young men, young women, those who identify as LGBTQ, binary, non-binary, and leading careers in sport, and also achieving their best feats, and or a CDO of a sports organization, which is a chief diversity officer. So let's get to the nitty. Who am I? I work currently for the NCAA Office of Inclusion. I have two people in this office. I want y'all to know, I have two people in the audience. I want y'all to know that I'm going to be asking for your participation today. You're going to answer most of the questions. I want you to be the people that gives me knowledge, and I also want to give you knowledge today. Okay, so if you answer questions, I have a goodie bag, the pineapple goodie bag. There's things in here. I'm not going to tell you what's in here, but we do have, who did I give stuff to already for helping me? Great, I gave you a hat, gave him a shirt. There's other things in here if you would like it. So if you help me out today and answer questions, you'll have a shot at the goodie bag later on today, okay? So the first question of the day is, what is the NCAA? What do we do? Can anybody tell me what the NCAA does? What is the NCAA? What does it do? Luke.
It is the culmination of Division I sports and the association that coordinates all that.
Okay, great. Any other answers of what we do? Thank you for that. Okay, recruit student athletes. Anybody else? All right. So, contrary to popular belief, we don't recruit athletes. We oversee 3 divisions of sport. And our job is literally to enforce the rules as we're a governing body, and then to create resources for the 1,100 membership schools so that way they don't, 1, break the rules, and 2, so they have the resources for the athletes to actually succeed, okay? Now, we get a lot of bad flack in the news, right? Because people say the NCAA made a big bad rule and they created policies so people can't get paid, right? That's what people think, right? Anybody think that in the room? No? All right. The NCAA does not create any policies. NCAA doesn't have any legislation. Our legislation and policies of amateurism, recruitment, whatever it is actually made by our membership schools. They have summits, they vote on everything, and then they create the rules. We simply enforce them and protect the good people that follow the rules. Okay? My job within the NCAA is to work in the Office of Inclusion. As I said, we just provide resources for student athletes in 5 key areas that we know are struggling within college sport. Whether it be student athletes, administrators, and those who lead and work with them, we know that there are 5 areas that are really struggling in college sport, and those areas are people with disabilities, those who identify as LGBTQ, IA+, international student athletes, those who identify outside of the white race, and also those who are women. My role within the Inclusion Office, programming. We have about 4 large programs every year, and I put them on. And then I also go and I do strategic outreach like I'm doing right now in educational partnerships. Next, I also work for the Colts. I get to do this right here. I get to create experiences for little kids to come to the game, be on the sideline pre and post game, and just make sure they have a good time. It is probably one of the best jobs that I've ever had in my life because I just get to have fun, and I get to take pictures, and I get to flex on Instagram. Duh. And lastly, I didn't know Andrew Luck was retiring, so don't ask me because I just didn't know, okay? All right, so the next part of participation that I'm gonna need y'all for is key terminology. I'm gonna be talking about some high-level concepts here, but y'all need to understand what I'm talking about. In order to understand it, y'all need to understand the definitions of these things, okay? So the first thing is equity. Can anybody tell me what equity means? Okay, equity is giving people, anybody? Yes. Yes. So equality, this young lady said, equality is giving everybody everything that they need, all the same. And equity is giving people what they need to break down the barriers. Okay, so this is how equity versus equality works. Equality says, Ellie's drowning right now, everybody. Okay, Ellie's drowning, all right? And who else is drowning? Nobody. So equality says, I can't help Ellie because everybody has equal treatment. So I can't help her because I have to treat everybody the same. In the 1960s, all the way up until the 1960s, black people, women in the women's suffrage movement, they were just fighting to be on the same level as white men. That's it, the same level, equality, just to be treated the same. Now we're pushing for equity, giving us what we need based on our surroundings around us. Ellie, you're drowning. Equity says, I can help you. Yay, you don't die. Lovely. Now inclusion is actually including you in the conversations. You know how many times students are having, administrators are having talks about students without them in the room? Like, how many times administrators are telling students what they need without asking the students what they need? It's crazy to think about, right? Like, we've been removed so long, but we're not even going to seek student input in anything that we're doing. Inclusion says we need to include the people that we're affecting in the conversation. Wow, that's a crazy concept, ain't it? Lovely. Next, marginalized, people who are affected, people who are usually at the bottom of the social climate. Oppression, can anybody tell me what oppression means? It's okay to repeat. Now, I was an education major, so I'm good with silence. And I know there's some people in here who know what oppression means. Yes.
Oppression is systematically making it harder for a specific group to function.
Girl, do you want a job? That was great. Lovely. That is the right color. That is the right, I'm looking at. That is the right definition. The right color, girl. Girl, you're right. Persons of color is what I was looking at. I was moving ahead. Persons of color is just what it says. Does anybody not know what persons of color means? Oh, right. We can keep it moving. Minority. Minority is a person pretty much the same. Those who are oppressed, those who don't have the representation that other people have in specific spaces are known as the minority. Okay, so we are in Kansas currently, and we know that majority of the people in Kansas are white. So the minorities would be black and brown and any other race. Sounds good? All right, we're moving. Lovely. Can anybody tell me what a microaggression is? Yes.
It's an act of, usually racism that isn't necessarily outwardly
Subtle. Subtle racism.
and not always on purpose.
Huh? You said what? Not always on purpose. So sometimes it just happens, okay? So a microaggression, I had somebody look at my hair. I got waves, all right? Let me tell you, I'm flowing right here. Let me just look at beach body waves, let me tell you, all right? And somebody looked at me when I came out of class one day. I was on this campus. Thank you. Somebody came to me after class and they said, wow, your hair feels like Cheetos. And I asked, yeah, what kind? Like the jalapeno or the cheese? Or do they feel like the hot Cheetos? Or the little Chester fries? Nah, bro, I said, stop touching my head, first off. Don't touch my hair. Don't ever touch me. And don't liken my hair to Cheetos. Thank you. Keep it moving. That was a microaggression. They really were they were just being honest. They wanted to touch my hair. They wanted to touch my hair. They didn't know that they shouldn't have touched my hair. And it was a microaggression because it was racism, but it was subtle racism. So, moral of the story, don't touch people's hair. And if they don't have it, don't touch their head. Great. And then the last definition I want to give you is black. We have to rewrite the history on what it means to be black. What the definition of black is beautiful. Black is powerful, black is strong, black is smart, black is hardworking, black is work ethic, and black is everything that you are, because if you are black. So we'll get into what we'll be talking about specifically today. We'll be talking about opportunity versus access. all right, and the access that not everybody has equally within sport and the world of sport, which creates barriers and which creates isms like ageism, sexism, homophobia, racism within sport. All right? So a lot of people don't understand. We always have a huge barrier in understanding how racism works. So here in this setting, when I was in Kansas, a lot of my constituents in class, my colleagues in choir, they would say, Leland, it's 2017, dude. Racism doesn't exist anymore. You have an opportunity to succeed. I mean, think about it. You're in the concert choir, dude. You do theater. You sing opera. If anybody has opportunity, it's you, and it's your people. They can just do it just like you. Okay, so let me explain something to you, and then we'll start talking about the conversation of the day. Everything that they said to me is definitely incorrect, and I'll tell you why it's incorrect. So this is the world that we live in. Opportunity is what everybody has. Okay? So there's a wall here. Think of it this way. Look up. There's a wall. There's a wall up here. All right, I have $200. I really have $200 in my wallet right now. My proposition is, if you can touch this wall, you'll get my $200. This is how opportunity and access differ. This is how racism exists. This is how sexism exists, ageism exists. Okay, so the opportunity to succeed is here. I can see it. My success is up there, and the only barrier is this height. So now I know that if I want access to the opportunity to reach it, all I have to do is go get a ladder. Okay? So, A, you have people who can touch it because some people may be tall enough. Ahmed, if you were like 2 more inches tall, you may be able to touch that, buddy. You might be able to touch that, man. So there we go. You were born into it. You were born into it. You were born into the access. Cool? Yes, sir. Now there are some people, they weren't born with the height, but at home they have a ladder. So they go home, they get their ladder, they come back, they climb, and they touch the wall. Great. Now, because you had the ladder, you may like somebody in this room. You're going to give them the opportunity to climb on your ladder, right? So everybody goes up. I keep giving it $200 for some people. For some people, they don't have the friends, so they'll call dad or mom up and say, hey, dad, mom, I need a ladder. Could you bring it to me? Great. For some people, they may say, hey, mom, dad, can I borrow some money because I'm going to go rent one from Home Depot? And then there's a group of people who don't even have the friends, the parents, the resources to even get to the ladder or to get a ladder so they can make the $200. And nobody in the world is going to let them use their ladder. That's us in America. That's women in the world of sport. That's disabled folk in the world of sport. The opportunity to do it, of course, you can go ahead, you can play, you can do all kinds of things. You can go and you can see the opportunity to get the job at the NCAA is there. The opportunity to go and be the best broker in the world is there. But the access doesn't often align with the opportunity. And nobody's giving them the resources to do it. So today, and every day that we talk about racism, that we talk about ageism, that we talk about sexism, homophobia, and all of these things that affect wide ranges of people, I need you to think about it just like this. And don't ever have the excuse that everybody has the opportunity to get a ladder because they do not. Everything good? All right. So we'll talk about sports and the society. First thing we need to do is connect sport to the world outside at large. We're going to do that by talking about sport and seeing if they're actually already diverse. Because that's what they say. Sports are diverse and inclusive, right? It probably popped up, Damon, in the back. But if we could just press this, that would be so great. It probably populated on the web page. Yep. So you would have to close that down. Nope. Okay. You can go back to the PowerPoint. That's fine. Okay. So this video is a video that is a video about a team called the All Blacks. Okay. All Blacks is the name of their team, but there's not one black person on the team. And then on top of that, in this video, they're talking about how sports are inclusive. 100% inclusive to everyone. And we have to fight. and we have to propel people and each other in sport, and we have to help all races, but the name of their team is All Blacks, and they don't even have one black person on it. Okay, so great. So when we talk about sport and society and the problems that are actually existing within sport, we have to look at society at large and say, hey, how does sport operate as a microcosm of society itself? So I want the Bethel College athletes to indulge me for a moment, okay? If you are an athlete, I'm going to need you for a second. Sports operates under this myth of what we call meritocracy. Meritocracy is the belief that you are rewarded for the merit that you do. So you work hard, then you'll always have the access to everything that you need. That's how sports operate. So if I come out and I bust my butt every day at practice, I'll get a position. If I work as hard as I can, I'll be an athletic administrator. That's what they were just saying in this other video. The great sportsmith said that's just not true. That you incur the same challenges in society that you do in sport, and it's just as hard because you're physically exhausted. Because you're mentally exhausted from the sport. So, I hope this is a safe space, and Bethel College athletes, I need you to stand up if any of these things resonate with you. Bethel College athlete, stand up if you've ever been discriminated because of your gender within the world of sport. Nobody in here has ever been affected because of their gender, because of sport. Not being picked on a team because you're a woman. Not being picked first to be something because you're a person. Nothing. Okay, great. Well, we have one. Thank you. Bethel College athletes, stand up if you've ever been discriminated against because of your race in the sports you've played. Bethel College athletes, stand up, or anybody who was a part of athletics or who is active now. Stand up if you've ever been discriminated against because of your age. Playing a game of pickup, you don't get picked up because you're older. Stand up. Y'all stay standing up. Athletes, I need you to remain standing up. If you stood up previously, I need you to remain standing up. Bethel College, and please do not out yourself if you do not want to. Please be comfortable here in this space. If we have to close these doors, we can. Bethel College athletes, please stand up if you've ever been discriminated against because of your sexuality or your sexual orientation. People, I need you to look around at the athletes that are standing up. The reason I need you to look around is because, for some reason, society puts these athletes on pedestals. And they say that because they're a part of athletics, they don't have to deal with anything. Because they're a part of athletics, they get fair treatment. They get free treatment. They get treated the best in the world. They get treated the best. They're treated like first-class citizens in every environment. But they're standing up because they're dealing with the same things in the outside world, and they have more problems than you because they are physically exhausted every day. They are mentally exhausted every day. And they have to show up and perform the same as you without the tools that they have, and they're dealing with problems in their own everyday sport. Some of them are being threatened to lose their scholarship for things that they cannot control. So when we talk about the problems that exist in sport, realize that I am not just talking about concepts that aren't here in this space, that don't happen at Bethel College. It happens everywhere around you, and it happens here. Thank you, and please be seated. Can we give them a round of applause for being vulnerable? Thank you. Thank you so much. So again, sports mirrors societies, and we just saw that, and it mirrors societies because of the great sports myth, and now I want to show you how sport actually operates and how this model continues to thrive. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to come up here for me, if you can. Pretty please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise I won't embarrass you. I promise. What's your name?
Lil.
Lil, I like you. What's your name?
Beth.
Beth. What's your name? Peyton. Jeff. Adam. All right, Adam. So we're gonna play a normal game of tug of war up here, okay? All right, so because I already spent the $200 that I got in my wallet, I'm gonna give $50 to the winner. $50 to the winner of this game, okay? Now, I'm gonna pick 2 team captains, And my team captain's going to be, tell me your name one more time.
Adam.
Adam, you're going to be here. What's your name? Peyton. Peyton, you're going to be here. Thank you so much. All right, you're going to bring down. All right, so we're going to do a twist to this game. You have one hand.
Okay.
So you can only use one arm.
Okay.
You don't have legs. You're going to be on your knees, or you can sit on your butt if you have to. You can't speak English, so you can't talk at all during this game because they don't understand you because you can't speak English. You're fine. You're fine. You're perfect. You're fine. All right. So, pick. I'm gonna put Peyton first.
Beth.
Pick Beth. Now Beth, she can't speak and nothing. All right, great. Ellie is fine. The other two, one arm.
Ellie.
She has no legs. He has one arm.
Jeff.
Jeff? All right, Lil, you're over here with your little body with no, all right. All right, people. Now, this is how sport operates. The playground model. You've ever went to the park and you want to play basketball? I was 325 pounds at one point in my life. And I would go to the park. I was a hooper. I could shoot, but I was a sharpshooter in the corner. Let me tell you. Nobody would pick me up because I was too big. Nobody would pick me up. They didn't care. Sport, the first way that sport operates is we dangle money in front of people. I dangled $50 in front of them, and the first thing they said is, I need to equip myself with the best physical team possible. Didn't care about what these other people were going through at all. I did not say once that all three people on each team had to do tug of war, did I? Did I ever say that? Did I? I just said tug of war. I didn't even say if y'all were going to be going against each other. I just picked teams. And I dangled money in front of you, and what did you do? You picked the most physically able people, and you discriminated against the people who you thought were lesser than. And guess what? In sport, that is okay. Let that sit with you. In sport, even when it comes to athletic administrators, there's no representation of disabled folk. When it comes to coaches, little to no representation of disabled folk. They relegate LGBTQ folk to second-class citizenship because they're saying, how you don't know anything about the sports that you're coaching because you're LGBTQ. All right, y'all can be seated. And now you don't get $50 because I'm upset. I'm sad that you did. I'm just kidding. You'll get something out of the goodie bag, though, the pineapple goodie bag, I promise. That's how the sports model thrives. We dangle money in front of people, and we say, hey, it's okay to exploit and take away from people because of their physical abilities, and we don't even think about how that affects them. Because we say, hey, sport is just about winning. It's not about all that other stuff. But then they tell you sports are inclusive. Which one is the message going to be? So let's look at the problems itself. So today we're going to mainly be talking about the 5 pillars that I said I work in, but I specifically want to look at how the numbers affect people of color. First, look at this. Now, athletic administration representation. This was just released by the NCAA across all levels of divisional levels of sport, and these were the current numbers of leadership within the athletics, the field of athletics. Now, the first myth is people believe that black people are represented on all levels of sport, especially within leadership. Just not true. Look at the numbers. First, black males, 5%. Black women, less than 2%. So we make up about 7%, whereas white women make up 20% for leadership, and white males make up 70%. So even white women are outpacing black folk over 400%, almost over 400% in athletic leadership positions. Did anybody know that? It's hard to sit with that data. Next, we have to think about other things that are creating this inequity and this lack of access within sport. First, there's a lack of social capital for black people in sport. Because of the stereotypes we talked about earlier, because of the stereotypes and because of our status, people think that we are only good enough to play the game. They only think that we're good enough as our bodies, but our minds don't operate well. Later on, we'll talk about players dealing with something that we call stacking in athletic administration. Stacking, for my football players in the back up there, stacking is where they put you in a specific position, not because of what your size is, but because of what you look like. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. They tried to move him to wide receiver 4 times before he got drafted. That's athletic stacking. When you're kids and you play pee-wee football and they only put you in the positions of middle linebacker and running back, but never quarterback, that's stacking. In the game of basketball, only person being considered to play point guard is majority. Who? White males. Everybody else around is different. Now that has changed, but if you actually look at the NBA, most people who play point guard also are fair-skinned. Dame Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, fair-skinned. I'm really spelling something out to y'all, huh? Blowing people's minds? No, not yet? All right, next, there is access discrimination. When black people are in positions of athletic administration, there's cultural deprivation because the representation just isn't there. At the NCAA, I am the only black male in the IHR department, which is Inclusion and Human Resources, the only one. We probably have about 25 staff. Who do I talk to in my field? How do I actually vent? Who do I talk to? So then at some point, I'm going to burn out because I'm being tokenized because every time they have an IHR event, Leland, would you speak? Would you sing opera for us? I'm in there doing it too, huh? Just silly. And then next, sports actually perpetuate society. Now, how does that challenge? Sports perpetuate society, but in sport, the problem becomes far more important. It becomes more challenging. Because in sport, the world is so small that the problems that exist within sport are exacerbated tenfold. Because the world is so small in sport, the problems that exist in sport become more of a problem. So the lack of network that we have, the professional stacking where they say black professionals can only work in HR and they can only work in academic support services, that's professional stacking. Next, there's a lack of representation, which then, if there's nobody at the top that looks like you, you won't have the support in the organization, and then this will just keep happening in sport every day. So with that, because Convocation was started a little bit later, because y'all had great announcements, I really appreciated listening to them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this presentation is given to you, but I have already outlined the problems within sport that exist. We already know what's out there. I've exposed you to some new data and some new information. So I'm going to jump ahead to the acknowledgement section. We can talk about solutions if y'all want to stay a little bit later for the institution, for students, for athletes, and coaches alike. And I think this will be great for the administrators, so we can stop and we can talk about this at any point, or we can come back and talk more particularly about what you can do to exacerbate some of these, or alleviate some of these barriers. But we'll go right here. Athletes, first thing I want you to do is understand these problems. For my football players, for my basketball players, for my soccer players, for my tennis players, whoever's in here, I need you to not be exploited. If you aren't preparing for your life after this, if you aren't joining every opportunity that you can, concert choir, forensics, because you can learn communication skills, you can build your soft skills, if you aren't doing anything, then the sport that you're playing, you're not going to get anything from. What can you get from the game of volleyball? What tangible things can you get from the game of volleyball? What do the coaches, what do they tell you? What can you get? Leadership, what else? Communication, what else? Teamwork, all right. Now, somebody catch this ball for me. Okay, you're not an athlete? Not yet? All right, somebody catch that ball for me. Hold that, hold that, hold that, hold that, hold that, hold that. Athletics are like the Second Amendment. Everybody supports the Second Amendment because they say guns can't what? Guns don't kill people, people kill people. And then they say, well, sports can do things for people, not people. Please, what does that ball do for you? Not a thing. Give me it back. This ball did not make me better. It did not make me a leader. It did not make me a communicator. It didn't do anything for me. It's just a ball, people. People change people. People affect people. You become exploited by the sport. You become hurt by the sport. You become harmed by the sport. The sport gives you injuries. The sport gives you mental health problems. The sport does not give you a thing. The coaches that you work with do. The communities that you're a part of do. This is but a ball, people. It won't do anything for you. And I promise you that. Thank you. So athletes, please concern yourselves with the things that are happening. Find outside experiences. Equip yourself with knowledge. Think of the Second Amendment. Coaches, do you have any coaches in the room? Josh, I know you're the SID. If you could give the coaches one message for me, football is not the end-all be-all, and they need to stop being so anxious. Their players are more than a TD. They're more than a three-point ball. They're more than a goal. They're people. And if they aren't getting the skills that they need and their coaches are making them over-depend on the game, they won't get jobs when they're done. They won't be hireable. And they'll leave the same way that they came in. So the conclusion is the problem is evident, people. Coaches and administrators, give your players the opportunity to engage outside of football, to engage outside of the sport. There's more need for research and resources. I have an entire thesis up here on athletic administration and the racial inequities that exist within athletic administration in my bag. And then I'm just going to ask, what will you do? Before I go, please ask me questions. Come down here, engage with me. But I want to do something special. I want to acknowledge a couple of things. The old me is the first. This was me when I was in Galveston, Texas. I was a hardcore Crip, people. I thought that I was ready. I was gang banging. I didn't have a lot of sense back then. And on this night, as I shared with the freshmen, one of my best friends was stabbed. Fort Trey was the game. This acknowledgement is to the old me. Because when I came here, I threw him away. I came here for purpose. I came here for the passion to affect people. And if I left the same way that I came, then I wasted my opportunity and I wasted money. So I'm going to throw that back on you, everybody who's in this room. Not the people from Just Hardships, the people who've had good lives. You need to take something away from this experience. And number one, that's learning from people that are different from you. So I come from Fort Trey, Galveston, Texas, where we swang and bang and let the seas hang. But guess what? I met Mark Emmert and his wife, the president of the NCAA, and I got to sit down and have a personal conversation with him afterwards. And now he's trying to figure out how he's going to situate me in the world of sport. I had a talk with the COO of the NFL the other day. So shout out to the old me. Second, I just want to thank my Bethel family. Everybody who's affected my life, but I just want to say thank you to the people who have truly taken out the time to affect me, to get me where I am today. Christine Krausdick, John McCabe-Yunke, Bill Aish, Marshall Miller, Clark Oswald, Ron and Carol Peters, who aren't here. Y'all know Rashaka Lewis, family, friends, and then all the Bethel faculty and staff who affected me, who got me where I am today. The next people I want to shout out, these people. They're my host family. I'm staying with them while I'm here. Denise Craze is one of the most powerful people that I've ever met in my life. She's given me so much. Her husband has given me so much, and they took me in when I didn't even have hope for myself. They instilled hope in me. They gave me drive. They gave me passion. They gave me love when I didn't even love myself. My sweetheart in the back corner over there, who took time out of her day to make sure she drove with me. She did not have to drive. She had to drive 2 extra hours to come meet me in Indianapolis and then drive a whole 12 hours during the day just to make sure I got here safely. I love her with all my heart, so this is to my sky. I don't know if we have time for Q&A, but thank you so much for indulging in conversation with me for this last hour.
please come chat with Leland up front if you'd like to chat with Leland. Thank you so much.